am without a body, and everything is perceived through my own light. This must be firmly established within. You say you cannot see your own light. How can you see that by which other things are seen? When you meditate, you must keep in mind that the meditator is formless. When you go to sleep, keep the thought that you are not the body. One without the body has no caste, no sin, no virtue, no time. The sky cannot be stained, and you are purer than the sky. Ananda, bliss, is subjective, but the self is not. Unless all things are forgotten, there is no bliss. As you get more faith in yourself, the individual mind will fade, and you will be one-pointed. Until a certain stage, the deities are there. When that stage is transcended, the deities are not there. When one goes beyond, there is only Brahman. You do not understand your own personality, so how can others? The scriptures are for the ignorant, not for the one of knowledge. As whatever can be told through words has no permanence. It can be compared to a dream. Break off this deep-rooted habit of identifying with the body. Dwell on this. What do you think of yourself? Your body is food material. It is the food of consciousness, the life force within. Consciousness and the world are one and the same. They arise simultaneously. The world is an illusion. However, you are the knower of the illusion that is caused by the play of the three gunas. This puzzle will be solved only through discrimination and not by rituals. With that, offer yourself at the feet of the Guru. This itself is the Guru's grace. Why do we ask about that which has never come into existence? For from the point of view of the jnani, nothing has ever happened. How can one recollect what was never forgotten? Maya means illusion that has suddenly appeared. It is the illusion of having a shape and form. It has come over you because you have forgotten your true nature. Think of how and when you got your concept of beingness. One who knows a self has no problem with anything good or bad. Be still. Gradually, you will know what really happens and why. In fact, even when no harm is done, the jiva, feeling that a great calamity has happened, keeps on struggling, eventually to die in vain. In the stage of body consciousness, all are beggars. Each one is asking for something or the other. Until ignorance disappears, the concept, I want to go beyond, will remain. There is only Maha-Maya, the grand illusion. She has to be dismissed after first worshipping her as God or Brahman. Then Godhood is also dismissed simultaneously. A rare one will tell you this most secret knowledge. after worshipping the self as God, ignorance will be revealed. Then no knowledge will be left. As spoken in the Vedas, one can go beyond karma after achieving knowledge of Brahman. It is rare to find one who knows correctly and yet does not claim that they have the knowledge. Who is the knower? The jnani? They only know that all this is ignorance. The union of you having the knowledge of your beingness and you not having the knowledge of your beingness is Mahayoga, the great union. One who knows this great yoga has transcended the knowing of beingness. Self is light. When the jiva emanates light, they see the world. The reflection of the world appears in your knowingness. If there is an experience of happiness, there will be an experience of sorrow. Remember well what you have heard and put it directly into practice. Truly speaking, an individual has no form. The so-called form is made up of the 5 elements. Inside the body, there are 5 senses. Which of these are you going to continue to live as? Most people want to hear what is based on the body sense. They do not recognize the body as unreal. All the knowledge in the world is based upon words. Find out if the one who has this wordy knowledge has any form. Contemplation on anything which is not the self is untrue. Meditation can only be that of the self. Knowingness that is in the body must be traced. It has no individuality. Sugar melts in the mouth, but its sweetness remains. Does sweetness have any personality? There is only the trace of manifestation there. That is all. No experience is lasting. The experiencer cannot be described through words, and we are the experiencers. That which depends upon life force and consciousness is not lasting. The everlasting is beyond these. We must expose the concept, I am somebody or something. Everything happens according to the nature of time. Desire to attain self-realization also arises according to the dictates of time. The primary dream is a feeling that you are. So long as you address God out of duality, you have not reached your destination. Paramatman has neither birth nor death. Then why did Krishna say, I have had many births? All these births were of the 5 elements. Such births are happening by the millions, every second, in the Paramatman. When you see yourself, it will be seen as an empty void, emptier than even a dream. The image that I am like this or like that has seized you. what has been created will surely be destroyed. What is created? It is our consciousness. When the feeling of I arises, it becomes the ego. You would not be listening to this unless you are worthy. After hearing it, it has to be remembered again and again. That is the beginning of the process. This form has come to you spontaneously. No one created it. You would not be here unless you were inspired from within to get the true meaning of life. This is not the type of devotion whose purpose is to acquire something. The purpose of this devotion is to get liberation through listening. The idea that you are a man or a woman with characteristic behavior patterns is false. It is an appearance. To know this, some worthiness is required. The knowledge I am is your godhood. Understand that. Various names are given to it. The fact that a liking to hear about this knowledge has arisen in you is a good spiritual sign. When the knowledge of your beingness becomes clear, you will transcend Maya. Consciousness will reveal its own worthiness. Manifestation is all one, but the names are many. But all the names pertain to Maya. After knowing the fact that I am everywhere, the knower will not be different from the knowledge. The sense that you are awake is also a concept. Sleep and wakefulness are indicators of your transient nature. When you enter into deep sleep, you let go of yourself every day. Detachment is a feeling that all this is an appearance. When truth is attained, false things drop off. No special effort is required to let them go. That is called an offering to Brahman. The sense I am is Brahman. The one beyond it is called Parabrahman. First, you will become Brahman, and then you and Brahman will disappear. Your subtle consciousness will expand, pervade the whole universe, and then dissolve. This happens in deep meditation. Do not neglect the consciousness that is now listening. It is pure and clean. Keep this in mind and worship the same. Do not forget that self-knowledge is the knowledge of our beingness. Due to impurities of the mind, one goes to the forest and bears hardships. If your impurities are removed here and now as you listen, you will not have to go to the mountains and forests in search. Consciousness is boundless. It cannot be foretold when realization will shine upon you. Someone gets it spontaneously. The other does not get it even with much effort. when a particular stage is reached, there comes about an appropriate change, and a proper ground is prepared accordingly. Dattatreya, a great sage, was perfect Brahman. Where was the necessity of a guru for him? Yet it is said that he approached 24 gurus. In order to eradicate egoistic consciousness and to pacify a particular quality, an appropriate guru was approached. Dattatreya was the knower of them. Can one take support of what is transient to know the truth? Your thinking consciousness has a beginning, and therefore it will have an end. First, put aside your intellect, and then take the Guru word and meditate on your subtle consciousness. Know that it is prior to the pondering. Make friends with it, and it will blossom within you. You will realize that it is your true nature. Believe that you are what you know before you know anything else. That is the Guru word. Consciousness has various names like God, Brahman, etc. It is known and experienced without making any effort. For its sake, ignore your mind and body. Realize that when you act, you are not the doer. You only witness what happens. The sense of doership is because of body consciousness. Unless you realize yourself your ego sense will not end. Even with proper initiation, if you do not follow it, it is of no use. Without uttering a single word of the supreme or the mundane, that which is naturally there is your consciousness. Who knows the knowledge that is in the world? It is your own consciousness, also called the Self. It has no colour, no form, and no design. It is pure knowingness. You behave according to what you have heard. But do you pay attention to that which is hearing now? That listener is your consciousness. One deals with the world from knowledge gained by the five senses. Does that knowledge have any colour or form? Yet you superimpose wrong ideas on that and become unhappy. Your consciousness is of the nature of love and devotion. The proof of God's existence is your own consciousness. As you meditate on that knowledge, the five elements will come to serve you. You unnecessarily believe that you are weak and sinful. Drive out the negative by contemplating on your consciousness and recognize your true nature. The knowledge of the Self will dawn on you at the appropriate time, and your worthiness will be boundless. Then the mind, which wants something or wants to get rid of something, will disappear. The five elements will be at your service. But peace cannot be achieved unless pride of knowledge is given up. The sage is very peaceful. You have read and heard a lot. Now, get to know the reader and the listener. The fact that you know you are is misery as well as joy. God is a source of joy, whereas the root of misery is Maya. But at the root, it is only consciousness. Find out what you have with you that is your own. Meditate on and know that one who contemplates on God is themselves God. Only the Sadguru can tell you that it is so. Other teachers tell you to live as a servant of God. In the beginning, your mother teaches you to understand sound. Had she not done that, what would be your language? I am talking to you in that language, which was yours before sound was first introduced to you. Yet you have to understand the meaning in the language you have learned. All the religions of the world are mere concepts. Have you any other knowledge except what you have read or heard? The way of the self implies the way of the life force or consciousness, because we are consciousness. The manifested consciousness is not steady, whereas the unmanifested is the everlasting truth. The sense of doership can be called the mind. In all these dealings, there is the one who has no birth. With the Sadguru's grace, the illusion of birth will vanish forever. Your consciousness is luminous, formless, and spotless. Keep in mind the consciousness that is listening and meditate on it. It has no attachment. There is no such thing as sin or virtue. You limit yourself by thinking you are the body, and hence experience them. The one who is listening is the same as Brahman, and the same is the Guru. Contemplate on this. Respect pure consciousness as the Guru, and it will become your friend. Stop looking outward and behave as if you were the self. Worship the higher knowledge while saying, I am that. Do you stay with your consciousness even for a moment? One who wants to know this will not die without understanding it. There is nothing like, I will die with the body. Can the light die? Contemplation of the Guru is contemplation of consciousness. Contemplation of consciousness by consciousness is the same as non-dual devotion. What you are listening to is a description of pure knowledge. With devotion to the Guru, you will come to know that you are that. Be firm in your determination that you are formless, pure consciousness.